We're gonna start real happy here. We're gonna pick the vibe up. We're gonna be super happy. We're gonna talk about the fact that the King of Random is now dead. Yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about happy shit,
Yeah.
dude.
Okay. I gotta ask the question. I do want to give like a small little somber, like I do feel bad because the guy left behind a family, and he did paraglide, and that was a little bit risky, but to a certain extent, can't we make jokes? Can't we laugh about the situation? This man was a great entertainer. He provided an outlet for so many people to learn science, to understand, to be weird, like to go out and research there. I mean, like I don't think anybody who's like a true entertainer or somebody in that field would want you to sit there and just feel pity and sorrow all the time. I think they just want you to laugh and continue learning and doing something amazing. And just the only people that I just feel terribly sorry for is his family. I'm like, that just seems...
Yeah, it's fair.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, there's obviously a line that where you can kind of start becoming a little bit like just abrasive intentionally, but yeah, for the most part, I mean, humor is healing.
Yeah, I think to a certain extent, you feel a little bit better too if you find somebody that makes a joke too soon. You're like, oh, too soon, and you dogpile on that person. Misery loves company.
Yeah.
Scapegoat.
Oh, definitely. I mean, obviously, I think there's, time and place kind of ordeal, but for the most part, I would argue that humor is vital to the overall human experience.
Absolutely.
Isn't it funny where some people put those boundaries, though? Like, you can't, like, back when Clinton got in trouble, you can't joke about the president doing that. That's not funny. It's a serious
issue.
Absolutely
Is. Oh, it's so fucking funny.
But, like, that's what I'm saying. It's like, that's the perfect kind of thing to joke about. Nobody really got hurt in this situation besides his wife, who is still with him. So it's just crazy to me how some people have such really thin lines.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You're right. I think that's where I touched on a little bit, too, with my last video, where I talked about the comedian that got a bunch of outrage for making that X joke.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was insane.
Right. It's ridiculous that out of all the things in, like, comedy that has ever been joked about, that joking about a rapper that died, like, nope, that's sacred. We can't joke about that.
And it was such a if I remember what I heard correctly, it was a really, really mild joke, like that they were still mourning or something, right? That was the entirety of the joke, basically, wasn't it?
The basic gist of the joke was that she pointed out that he had $50,000 in cash and was shot and robbed, and she was like, "Yeah, that would make a pretty good Venmo commercial."
Okay, I must have heard a different joke.
No, that's how she said it.
But still, either way.
So
yeah, it's either way. It's just like that's. I mean, it's been like a year now.
Yeah.
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 And especially, I mean, let's be real. It's a rapper getting shot. That's not an uncommon occurrence.
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh, what fucks me up is that it was a suspected wife beater type of dude, and he goes and hangs in shady areas and he gets shot. I'm like, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm sad somebody died, but you kind of have somebody who's a shitbag go hang out with shitbags and then get robbed. I'm like, what'd you expect?
Yeah.
Yep.
You're right.
I can't tell you the number of times I hung out with fucking weed dealers. I'm sitting there like, yeah, I'm gonna laugh at their jokes, but I'm not gonna touch anything in their house. I'm not getting stabbed over some stupid shit.
No, exactly.
But yeah, I'm like, I think we should all just bow our heads in a silent 30 seconds of prayer and say, okay, let's move on to the next thing. Because if we trifle on death for too long, that'll just be sad. So let's you want to hit on Jake Paul for a minute, just real quick.
Who doesn't?
Okay.
Yeah.
On a scale of 1 to 100, how real is the wedding? Come on.
I'll give it a peach.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's about as real as Tana's tits.
Jesus.
It's about as real as her not being involved in TanaCon being a failure.
Yeah.
You know, TanaCon was fucking genius, man. You get invited to VidCon next year and you get to talk shit. That's awesome. I want that kind of privilege. You want to talk about white privilege? I want to talk about bitch privilege. That was amazing.
Yeah.
I kind of want to make fun. I kind of want to make a video about TanaCon now, actually.
Do it.
But for a specific reason, I just got so many things I'm working on. But to get back to the Jake Paul and Tana wedding, is it a surprise? Well, why do people believe it's real at all? It's the whole thing is there's a TV show being made about it.
Okay. So if you don't think it's real, if we're gonna assume you're Mr. Wrong here, you know, you it could be real. How much you want to put down that they're fucking?
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised at all with that.
Oh yeah, they definitely are. No doubt about that.
I'm literally imagining this whole like wedding thing is just like, yo, we're gonna fuck 6 days a year. And then when I go to my parties, I'm going to fuck everybody at the club because they want Jake Paul, my vasectomy dick. And, you know, in the meanwhile, you know, if we need some booty call, just hit you up. Like, that's all that sounds like.
Yeah. I mean, I'd feel just given off of what we publicly know about Tana and what she tells people that it's safe to assume that you could, you know, be the milkman and still get fucked if you were delivering it to Tana.
Well, this is also Jake Paul's third marriage, quote unquote marriage, right? Which and neither of the first two are real either. So it's not exactly out of his wheelhouse.
But the gays are ruining gay marriage. You know? The sanctity of marriage.
Hey,
no.
well, we don't know. Jake Paul might be gay, so still technically maybe they
Did they ever do the go gay for the month thing? Did they ever actually fall through that?
I thought that was Logan.
Yeah, but like I thought Jake was on that podcast.
I mean,
maybe.
I wanted to see that.
I don't follow them that closely.
No, I wanted to see that straight up. I wanted to see fucking Logan going ham in that fucking photo. Maybe get Jake involved and then get the dad involved. Just one big incest orgy.
Talking about Logan going gay and then getting Jake involved.
That would be amazing. I'm not gonna pay for
the poster children for incest.
Well, they already are. I mean, come on.
That's fucking hot, dude.
Oh my! I would pay more.
Their next reality show is on Pornhub.
Go the Val Delphine route. Like, fucking my dad in the ass. And then it's just like you bring a donkey in and Jake's just going ham on the donkey. So.
Hey, maybe Nerd was right. Maybe there's a thing between the mom and them.
That is a white people thing. I don't care what anybody says.
It absolutely is.
It's so fucking white. I will never understand it. It wasn't until I saw some like racist on Twitter being like, white people do this. I'm like, yeah, actually, yeah, this is right. White people are everyone should get a religious, you got to get a religious, not orthodox, but like borderline orthodox family and just befriend them for like a year. It'll change your fucking life. I've met the weirdest fucking religious people you can imagine. Like,
oh, definitely.
I'm talking like trying to set up their sons with like twice removed cousins, like that level of weird. Ugh. They're amazing. I love watching them.
It's crazy. I actually just found out. I found out when we got married that in New Jersey you can actually marry your first cousin. Because they actually asked us. Now you're not cousins, right? Why are you asking us that question?
You're not trying to trick us, right?
I thought it was even funnier that all they do is ask. Like, they don't require a blood test or anything. It's like, now it's not legal for you to get married if you're cousins, and you're not, right? We're gonna take your word on this.
If we have to come back and do a paternity test, we're gonna be real pissed.
Your family reunions aren't really small, are they?
Oh my god.
Are your family reunions also orgies? Be honest.
So I just listened to this story. It was from a subreddit. It's one of those people who just post subreddit things where they put the voice modulator bot on and they just go, I'm reading subreddit stories. And it was about this guy who got a new boss, an accountant, and an office of 30 people quit because they found out that the new boss that was hired was a excommunicated church member and was swingers and had orgies every weekend. So 30 people who were all Jehovah's Witnesses up and left in office. How amazing would you feel if that was your life?
I would give my left nut
I'm
to just live
I'm
that.
confused. Why wouldn't they all just rise up against the person that owned the place
Oh, because he was on
and
the
get
guy's
the guy
side.
fired?
Oh, he was on the side.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Oh, he went to the parties.
Probably.
No, I'm not firing him. I was just sucking him off last week.
Yeah, you gotta be respectful.
Yeah, I mean, who can fire the men that they gave a reach around to?
You're right. Right. He would have probably said, "I was respectfully sucking him off last week."
It was in
I
guns.
did it in the Lord's name.
God damn it. Why you steal my joke?
Look, my thumb is still brown.
Steal my joke. Yo, so you did stand up yesterday. I am dying to hear about it and everything and all the details. I'm fucking dying.
Yeah. So last night was my my very first night performing comedy in front of people in a live environment. It was a lot of fun.
What was it, a
Genuinely.
club or was it a bar?
It was a bar. It was a little rinky-dink local bar here in town because I am too much of a pussy to go balls deep and be like, let's go for a full-on comedy club. Let's just do
Okay.
that. I figured my nerves would still be there, but it would be easier to just perform in front of just a bunch of fucking dirty, drunk people.
That's probably the best move. I mean, even Gus Johnson, when he started doing stuff recently, he was just doing bars and stuff because that nobody would really book him anyway without having gotten on stage somewhere at some point.
Yeah, that's fair.
We got like a comedy club, and I'm like, the only thing they do is like a once a week open mic, and I'm like, you gotta book that like I think weeks in advance. So yeah, going bar
Yeah,
routes is the smart way to
exactly.
go. But no, I've been desperate to hear about this like all day. You have no fucking idea. I'm so excited to see anyone in the YouTube community transition into actual stand-up comedy. And don't get me wrong, I love Gus Johnson's thing, but I don't think of him as like an actual stand-up comic. I think of him as like a bit comic. Like,
Yeah,
Bo
and that's
Burnham.
totally fair. That's still, I think comedy in terms of that is still like you still need to put a lot of effort and thought into doing it, and you still have to have some skill. But you're right. I think I'm not trying to, shit on anybody, but I think a good example of what you were just pointing out is Ethan from H3. He made some really good videos back in the day, but if we're being just objectively honest, he is not funny on his own.
oh my god.
No, it's trailed off. Yeah, I think part of it's just a different perspective with his age.
Yeah, it could be. And it's that, you're right. I think not a lot of people could transition from YouTube humor to traditional comedy, stand-up comedy kind of
And
thing.
I saw somebody who did a video where they were giving him shit. It's like, Ethan, we realize you want to be a stand-up comedian. I think it might have been Keem mentioned it, but it's like, you're not. You are the funny fat guy who's got a couple of quips and can tell some very constructed jokes. Like he has to spend a month to work on 2 jokes, but they're good if you spend the time on them.
Oh, for sure.
And I'm like,
Well,
I'm desperate to see him try to do more video uploads like a once a week again, but it would just be bad, and he wouldn't sacrifice the money from the podcast to do that.
spending months on a couple of jokes isn't necessarily unrealistic. I mean,
no.
for an actual comedian, because think about it, like every 2 years or so, maybe a comedian will put out a special.
Yeah.
Yeah, because even with some jokes, I find the premise a groundwork for something that I know has potential to be funny, and I'll workshop that for days until I'm like, yeah, you know what, this is actually good. And even then, once I tell the joke, I'll be like, later on, I could fix that. I could work a different angle with this.
So I've actually been trying to work on it as well, and I've just like I said, I've been so excited to hear you going to do the actual going to the bar. So how long were you on for? That's what the next thing I'm super curious about. Like just a 5-minute, 10-minute set?
So, whenever I practice it, my set to myself or in front of my friends that would volunteer to listen, it always roughly translated from like 7 to like maybe 9 minutes, somewhere in between.
That's not bad.
And when I was up on stage, it definitely felt a lot shorter, even though I made sure to pace myself. That's kind of one of the things that first timers do that are just a mistake. They rush through their material. They get like mumble mouth, mush mouth, and I made sure to really just pace myself with that.
That nervousness can kind of throw things out of whack, which is especially bad when you're doing something like comedy where timing is so important.
Oh, absolutely. So me getting there, like I said, it's this tiny little rundown bar, and I'm already like knowing that this is gonna work my nerves a bit. So before I even get to the bar, I took like 3 shots of Fireball.
That's the smart way to go about it, first timer. Oh my god.
Just to calm down, and then I start pacing myself with just bitch drinks throughout the night to maintain where I'm at. No. And I'm already like, I'm in a good mood. I'm having fun.
So you already kind of have an idea of all this stuff. Like, where have you been listening to all this? Because I'm like, everything you're saying, I'm like, I've heard this 1,000 times over from different comedians. Who are you listening to?
I think, well, one, I've always had a real love for comedy and just stand-up.
No, not you.
Yeah, right? It's fucking weird. I respect a lot of comedians. I watch their specials and I listen to them because I end up admiring them. And as of lately, I became some decent friends with like actual comedians. Like I've gotten to have tiny conversations with people that are associated with people like Doug Stanhope, who's fucking hilarious.
Right.
And just little like small names, but still out there. And they've been really nice with being able to give me advice.
That's good. No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm like super in just pure admiration because I'm like you're freaking, I don't know, like a mile ahead of where I'm trying to go with something like that. So I'm just sitting here like, tell me, how was it? How did you feel? Like, what was the blood pumping? Was your penis just erect? Were you just whipping it out and just being like, do you fucking guys like this? Do you like watching me perform?
Yeah, as soon as I got up on stage, I was just like, you guys fan of Louis? And they were like, yeah, and then I just started jacking off.
Do you listen to like a lot of comedy podcasts or anything, or watch a lot of comedy interviews or anything?
Surprisingly, it's one of those things where I know I should probably be listening to a lot more of the comedians like podcasts, but I kind of don't. It's like picking up reading. We all say we're going to, but we never fucking do. But
I've got a lot of
I have made it apparent to listen to a certain podcast a bit more. The Legion of Skanks. They're good.
I've heard that one before.
I don't
know who that is, though. I've heard it before.
Mm-hmm.
So I've heard, like, if you have a chance, you should watch The Marvelous Miss Maisel. Like, I find that that's a really good introductory show for people who really don't understand anything about stand-up comedy, like, from, like, the start of it. But, like, I've been watching a lot of stuff where, like, people are talking about just, like, how they begin, where do they get the roots, how do they get the chops, how do they craft what they find funny. And I'm like, you can get a decent amount of that from podcasting, but you really gotta find those like kind of deep seedy interviews that people do on like the special features and stuff. Like, they're out there. They're real hard to find nowadays because nobody does a fucking DVD to save your life. But like, you find if you can get an actual comedian drunk, they'll level with you. And it's real nice to actually see somebody just be like, look, I sucked. I was fucking trash. You just got to sit there and you refine and you refine and you refine. And
oh yeah.
Specifically, I like listening to Rogan and occasionally Kreischer's podcasts because they actually talk about like the behind the scenes and constructing their jokes and this and that. Like they go into the details, and I mean, there's some like it kind of helps you point you in the right direction. Like I could never do stand-up comedy, but I like doing commentary and stuff that I do. I try and make sure my focus is on making jokes out of it, like twisting it to find the right angle. So you no matter what, if you're doing anything comedy related, hearing how a comedian approaches writing, or how they approach getting away from things to reflect, it's really helpful.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. Like, I admire people like Louis, who can seemingly take something that you would never think about making a joke about, and he can work it in a way that you feel like, whoa, this is fucked up. But he so very craftsman-like just finds a way to make it just borderline acceptable.
Mm-hmm.
Like his opening bit with about pedophiles for Saturday Night Live was very controversial, but goddamn, it's so funny.
Yeah, there's some guys that really know how to put their finger on the pulse without pushing too hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you can find a decent balance of all comedians. Like, one of my favorites that I grew up, and the fucking late Ralphie May, I'm like, I think that one of the best comedy tools that just really shaped me was that, like, listening to somebody be like, oh, this is an innocuous conversation that just anyone has had. Like, what'd you want to do today? I don't know, maybe eat and take a shit. And then taking that and just making something out of it. It's like, you get somebody who can really show you the door, you find a way to be funny. Like, I think Louis C.K. is a really great example of going dark, but, like, I think some of the best people to make you just realize the weirdness of the world are the people who go, oh, what are you hungry for? Food. Ha, you're so funny. Now we're going to deconstruct that and make it into like a whole thing about why you're the most retarded friend on the planet, because you don't seem to understand that I'm not asking you if you want to eat, I'm asking you where you want to eat. Just...
Yeah. A lot of good comedians, it's like an unfiltered thought process and overanalyzing something to the point where you find something out of nothing and you enjoy that. I love that.
So with that, though,
because
go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like you said, overanalyzing is a huge part of it, because I'd say the majority of comedy I listen to, like a lot of the aspects that make up the humor is focusing on the stupid minor aspects of what's going on, whether it be a situation with Brooke Reicher's kids or, some stupid little interaction that Bill Burr had. Like, somebody bagged their groceries wrong and it pissed him off. Like, it's the small things that really matter when it comes to something like comedy.
Oh, absolutely. A good portion of, like, what helps me is I have a lot of downtime to just sit around and think. And in that time, I could be doing something like, going to school, reading a book, and I don't. I just sit and find something that I think is really stupid or obnoxious or just mildly inconvenient. And I'm like, let's think about this for the next, 4 hours to the point where I'm just overanalyzing everything.
Bruh, do you think that, people stuck in solitary confinement are the best comedians on the planet?
Why do you think so many comedians have, so just a deep narcissistic self-hatred for themselves? At least the ones that I enjoy. Or the ones that I enjoy are very depressed and sad.
I think it's, because, I love that intro that Doug Stanhope did for No Refunds, where he goes, I come to New York because people are fucking miserable here. If I went to, Flossed in Paradise and or the fucking Alps. They're not sad there. They're not miserable. They don't need comedy. So you'll only find comedy in people who are just so royally fucked up. And I think you find that these really amazing gems come from realizing that they're better people than most people.
Yeah.
They'll never say it.
I believe so.
It's so fucking weird. I'm like, I think the best people on the planet are people who are comedians. Like, even people who just, they go to their friends, they act like they're kind of like the butt of the joke, or they make their friends laugh, and then they go home and they snort a line because they feel so fucking empty inside, but they're still a good fucking person.
Oh, yeah. I believe that. 100%.
No, I'm super happy. I'm excited to see if you keep going, obviously. And don't stop. Please keep going. For the love of God.
Well, if I'll reveal to you guys something I've been keeping a little DL, because I think it's no big deal. The guy, we talked about it, he was very cool and chill. So I told you guys about that podcast, The Legion of Skank. It's just a handful of comedians that are like in the scene, and they have a comedy festival called Skankfest, and they very recently had one out in New York, New Jersey area, and they had a surprise performance by Louis C.K. He showed up, did a set, and everybody lost their mind. It was amazing because the entire atmosphere of the comedy festival is to go balls out. You know, make jokes that you want to make. You know, they can be offensive or whatever. You can say and do whatever, as long as it's for a good joke.
Oh my God, that is awesome.
It's a freedom of expression. It's great. And Lewis, one of the main guys, got a hold of me on Twitter and was like, "Do you do stand-up?" And I was like, "No, but I've always been really interested in doing it and performing." He was like, "Dude, we need to get you out to Skankfest sometime. We're going to do a Chicago show eventually. You know, well, even if we need to pay you to get out here, we'll fucking do it. We'll get you a hotel room."
Nah, that's fucking good, man.
That's sick.
So that's kind of what even jump-started my... Because I've always had a mild interest, but I guess I never had the incentive to do it other than, like, yeah, it'd be something fun. But now it's something to work towards.
I think being that you have so much free time will really give you just that competitive edge to pursue forward, like, you know, because you can find so much. Like, I've never met a single person who's able to bust out a gut-wrenching laugh video on Twitter every day, and the fact that you can do that, I'm like, yeah, you should be show writing, you should be going and doing stand-up, you should be doing that. I'm like, you just have this talent for that, and to have somebody finally kick you in emotion a little bit, I'm like, fucking yes. Where do I give that guy money?
Yeah. It was really exciting.
I love I love how often I'll see one of your videos pop up on Twitter, and I'm sitting there like, oh, this is gonna be good, and it's like minute 50 in, and there hasn't been a major joke yet, and then when you finally get to the major joke, it's so good. I love a slow build joke.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? To get a little personal with the show, the bar wasn't packed by any means. Like I said, it was a fucking random Tuesday. No one's going out to, you know, a fucking open mic, really. But there was a decent amount of people, you know, kind of packed. A little bit, not too bad. But at the beginning, you know, because the bar is known for music, not really stand-up. And my mom pointed that out, and it really threw me off. Because I was like, oh, fuck, she's right. Like, no one's going to give a shit that I'm telling jokes. Mm-hmm. People are going to be doing their own thing, getting drunk and shit. Fuck. And it kind of put me in a weird place mentally. And at the beginning, it was a bit rough. Nothing bad, but I think people had to get a feel for what was, unfolding. And by the time I got to my last joke, the one that I was really, proud of, majority of the bar, besides two people in the back, were in the crowd, involved. And as soon as that last joke landed, it got everyone laughing. And I was like, fuck yeah, that was it.
That's
did it.
great.
Oh.
To win over a crowd that mostly probably went there expecting music. That's awesome.
Yeah.
God damn it! Here I am sitting hoping you bombed because that's what humbles people.
Yeah, no, that's what I totally went in ready to be like, nobody's going to give a shit. But you know what? At least I did it. I was okay with that.
Fuck, that's awesome.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, to an extent, you've been kind of playing to an audience for a long time by
Don't
telling
tell him
jokes.
that.
Yeah.
So realistically, you've probably bombed a bunch of times with jokes that just didn't land initially.
Probably. More than likely, 100%. You're right.
Just a softer fall, and then you just build on it.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
It was a lot of fun.
So, okay. Enough sucking your dick. I do have a serious question.
Yeah.
Have you had your dick sucked, and would you be interested in a fat, bearded guy doing that for you, maybe?
Yes and yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been waiting to see when some YouTubers are going to go on stage tours and, like, go on stage. And I want to be the first guy to go on stage and be like, and presenting your next act, an obese fat man giving a cripple a blowjob. That would make every headline.
Oh, I'd fucking dig that. I think the
Of
problem
course you would.
with
You'd be getting a blowjob.
yeah, who wouldn't fucking be alright with that? Who the thing with people transitioning. Okay, people on YouTube do things that I think they bite off more than they can chew. I mean, it was music for a long time, and a bit more recently, like with fighting. Like, yeah, people can do these things, but it doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna be good at it.
Yeah.
Are you doubting my dick sucking job? You think I can't
That's
suck a dick?
basically what I'm getting at.
Bro. Dude. I'm fully committed. I will grab the balls.
But
What
how,
the fuck?
but how
I-
practiced are you? I think that's
Yeah,
what
are
you're
you
saying.
are you a spitter?
See, for the joke, I would swallow. But I'd say I'm probably a bitch and I'd probably spit.
If you had to clarify, you wouldn't.
I mean, let me put it this way. For the most part, most guys understand that fucking jizz is just disgusting. And yet, women
Yeah.
still do it. So, if women do it and they aren't necessarily happy about it, why would a guy do it? It's just for the bit. You just do it for the joke. Put a camera on
Yeah.
me, I'll fucking do it.
Yeah. I'm a full believer in doing things just purely for a laugh.
Honey, no, trust me, I'm not gay. It was for a laugh. Don't you find it funny when you walked in the bedroom and saw me with another guy? But babe, come on.
You didn't laugh? What? You're just being a fucking Debbie Downer, man.
So, you know what? That leads me to a good question to ask the both of you. I don't know if I should actually ask this one of you yet, Jake. So, I'm trying to run a show called Outside the Box. I still have to work on a lot of production things, but this is the most important question that I intend on asking every single guest that I possibly can. Okay. Is it gay for you as a straight man to have sex with another man? Does that make you gay?
It's a gay act.
It is a gay act, but does that mean that you as a person are showing gayness?
No. Well, showing gayness. If you're performing gay acts. I mean, if it's not something you want to be doing, then no, you're not gay. But you're still showing gayness, in your own words. If you're doing something that's gay, like having gay sex.
I'm kind of astounded. As it stands so far, every person over the internet I've asked this question agrees with me. And my opinion is that having gay sex does not make you gay.
Now that you said that, Cripp is going to disagree just for the joke.
Yeah, no, well, I mean, I can't even argue with that because, frankly, I don't think having sex with a man and being another man would be considered gay. I think something like talking about your fucking horoscope for more than 2 minutes is more gay than that.
Look, if Thanos is here and he starts snapping his fingers, I'm grabbing the nearest guy. If there's
That's
no women
right.
around anyway.
Yeah.
I think I think this one breaks people that are not ingrained in internet culture. There seems to be an overwhelming majority of people who think that just because you have sex, doesn't matter with who, that makes you your sexuality. And it fucks me up because I've been laughed at so many times with this question. Like, people will like actively laugh at me. I work in kitchens. There are 16-year-old high school students who come and work to be servers. And their friends who got them the jobs go, "Hey, Kyle, tell my new hire the joke or the question." And I'm like,
well,
that's
your problem. You're asking 16-year-olds.
Yeah, dude.
Even, I'm talking 40-year-olds. I'm talking 50-year-olds.
Dude, you drive you drive a Ford Escort. You're gay.
But here's what makes me hate this joke. Everyone I ask online says, yeah, no, it doesn't make you gay. And it intrigues me to no fucking end where, okay, there are people who legitimately think that just because you have sex with somebody, that makes you what you think. But that makes me wonder to the end of the day, is like, does that mean we still are homophobic? Going political here.
Better question. If they believe that having sex with a gay man or having gay sex with somebody makes you gay, whether you want to or not, what about having sex with a trans person? Does that make you trans?
No.
Is it like an STD?
Can you catch the trans?
I think you can catch the trans. Oh, no. Fuck you people. I don't know what it is with... Dude, you laughing at me for him? Look. I am shameless. I will be 100% shameless at the end of my day, just like Jim Norton. I fucking love trans people. I jack off to trans people. I think trans people can be really fucking attractive. There is something about people when they get afraid of trans porn and trans sex that I'm sitting there like, bro, it's best of both worlds. You got somebody who knows how to handle a dick and is probably willing to take it up the ass. Where do you lose?
You don't. That's why I love that debate with, like, you know, it happened a while back where it was, are traps gay? I am fully under the belief, like, dude, you went into it with, like, oh, this is a feminine figure, and you still were turned on by that. But the moment you saw a penis, you're like, oh, dude, what? I'm gay? What the fuck? It's like, no, dude, you're not gay. The whole time you thought this was a woman. Now, like, it's just a person with a penis. So, like, that doesn't make you gay. What the fuck are you talking about?
It's the stupidest argument. But it was turned into, oh, well, if you wouldn't have sex with that person, it's like, well, I went under false pretenses, man. You can't sell me a fucking Lambo for $50 and then go, well, here's your Chevy. It's like, fuck you. You said a Lambo.
Yeah. Exactly. But even then, I would still argue that it's not necessarily gay. I mean, it's a gay act, for sure. It doesn't make you gay, though, like we said earlier.
Joke aside.
I hate this question now because every person who's not integrated with, like, internet culture looks at me like I'm a psychopath. Like, I've got the fucking crazy...
But again, you said you're mostly asking people that are, like, 16. Are you online, are you mostly asking people that are... No, I'm saying in person, you said you're asking, like,
it is in the
stuff.
Restaurant industry. With the most fucked up people on the planet who work in the restaurant industry. I'm talking servers, I'm talking cooks, I'm talking crackhead cooks.
I know. Waiting is just scarily accurate, I know.
And they all look at me like I'm fucking preaching about how the aliens probe me.
Okay, but who are you asking online? What demographic? Are you asking Turkey Toms, or are you asking, like...
Everyone. I ask everyone. I would say for the most part, I would say it's probably be about 16 to 24-year-olds, probably that range.
Offline or online, or both?
Offline.
Offline. What about online? Everybody? Like every
age
range?
I mean, yeah, like not recording, when we're actually just chatting about this.
Right. I'm just trying to see, like, if there's a discrepancy between age ranges offline and online, because if you're talking to mostly more mature older people online, then of course they're going to have a different outlook for the most part than somebody that's younger and not integrated with. What
I would say is that if you talk to somebody who's bisexual or gay, and I've asked many gay people this question, despite them not wanting to hear it anyway, they usually will agree with me. because they understand like that openness, that like sexual openness of being like, yeah, I'll take either one, or maybe I lean one way. Like they get that. But somebody who's been under the opinion that it's like gay means abnormal to them, it doesn't mean anything bad. Just somebody who's like, if you're gay, you're a little off. It's like a guy walking around in a kilt in the United States. You're just a little thrown off by it. They just don't seem to understand that idea that just because it's sex with somebody of the same sex, that makes you attracted to the same sex. You can make arguments that you have attractions to the same sex, but like that doesn't mean you sit there and go, I'm gonna marry a man, I want to fuck a man every day, I want a man to cradle my balls, like I really just want this man in me, in all.
So
the
these
sex.
are people that take gay for pay literally.
Yeah. Probably.
So like you said, with just because you did something gay, not necessarily mean you're gay. Like in high school, there was this I went to prom, and there was this other guy named I want to say it's Marcos, but
Fuck
either
Marcos. Rip me off for $100.
way. And this kid, it was at our senior prom, and we were all graduating, and there was just this like atmosphere, even amongst people that like didn't necessarily talk to one another. We were just like in a unified, like, we did it, we made it, we're all friends here. And I never was friends with Marcos. I just knew who he was. We went to the same classes a few times, but we're in the circle, and Marcos is just like, dude, I always thought you were like super cute. I had a crush on you. And I was just like, yeah, dude, fucking right on. Cool, man. I appreciate that. And he was just like, yeah. And it was really, like, adorable. Because it was like a fucking, how a school, like, I always kind of, liked you. And I thought that shit was, like, really sweet. I'm not gay, but I was like, you know what, man? Come here. And I just gave him a fucking kiss for graduation. Like, that's my gift for you. That's for you, buddy.
Oh, my God. Like, that's... Oh, I'd strive to have that level of sexual openness back then. Just to be able to understand that it's like, hey, it don't matter. That's cool.
And I always had that, even as a teenager like that. I was comfortable with who I am. I didn't give a shit. What, you gonna call me gay? Okay, cool. And?
Bruh, I was so retarded as a teenager and a young adult. This is a true story. 1,000%. There was this girl, black girl, super attractive face, but she was kind of a bigger girl.
Right.
But me and my friend Matt would hang out every once in a while with her. And she kind of started being... She used to be the one who kicked my ass in Black Ops Snipers. She's the one who taught me how to quickscope. So we'd hang out with her. And then one day I'm in college. And we're chatting with her and one of her friends. I'm just like, hey, something. We got on the topic of dick size or something like that. This girl full on reaches to grab my cock in the middle of like a room full of people. Like, I wasn't thinking. I'm too used to my father pretend punching me in the nuts. So I dodge it. I didn't think anything of it. So like 2 months later, I tell Matthew the story. I'm like, yeah, it was so weird. She tried to grab my dick. I'm like, yeah, you didn't realize she's been attracted to you for the last 6 fucking months? What? A fucking woman grabbing my dick in a crowd of people didn't trigger my fucking brain to go, oh, they may be interested in me. So you want to go on awkward? Top that motherfucker.
That's great. I can be oblivious. I think everybody is, really. Like, none of us pick up on shit, at least at that age, when we're like, what, they like me? Even now, it's still kind of heavy.
Yeah, I've always been terrible at social cues.
I just think it's cute.
It's always romantic social cues.
Like I love sarcasm, and I'm very often not able to read when somebody's being sarcastic unless they have some kind of tell. And
right,
I'm a very sarcastic person, but I can't pick it up on other people.
Oh shit.
No, that's fair.
So I should stop pretending I'm God around you, Jake?
Wait, you're not?
You're gone.
Don't say that. That inflates my
I thought that's
ego.
how you got the 2 A's next to your name, or in your name. How else do 2 A's get next to each other?
Okay.
You lied to me.
I don't think you understand something. When I start going God complex, I'm being sarcastic. But I'm like a fucking prophet, man. I see the future. I swear to God.
Lead me.
You want me to lead you? I will fucking straight up take Kavos, leech Kavos' money to fund you to make your YouTube videos. Fucking let's do this shit. Let's do it.
We'll do it live.
Oh my god. If you gave me 10 fucking YouTubers, I would leech so much money. I would make them money in the process. They wouldn't know I'm leeching money from them. And I would take anyone that I found funny or entertaining.
That sounds like backtracking now.
What?
I would leech so much money. I would make them money.
Okay.
I would leech so much money.
If I say, hey, you're going to make $10,000 a month, are you really questioning where the 1,000 that you didn't notice is going away? No, you're not going to question where that's going.
I mean, fair enough.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't know this actually, Cripp. So I've been working in the industry for a while. Like I've been very loosely around. I work on beta and all that jazz.
Right.
People hate money. That's just the simplest way to say it. I've sat down and had a phone call with the owner of Stream.me, got Keemstar a multi-$1,000 contract with that fucking stream service. I looked at a kid who was 15 or 16 years old and said, hey, I know you're in high school, but how would you like to make like $4,000 a month? The guy looked at me and said, nah, I want to focus on school. I think, yeah, don't get me wrong, high school is important, but I told him, like, you don't have to stream like 16 hours a week. He's like, yeah, but school is important. I've looked at...
For $4,000, that's insane. That's
not even
more
joking.
than I make a month.
I'm not
Do
joking.
you still have that deal open?
No, that fucking site's dead. Which sucks because it was a good website.
When you have an opportunity like that, you cash it in.
Okay, I'll one-up ya. I had a podcast ready to go with Kavos, Willany, and Mimulus, where if all they did was listen to me, that's it. Just listen to me. We could have been walking away with like 30 fucking grand at a minimum per 2 weeks, maybe every month.
Wait, a podcast where they just listen to you?
Well, no.
That
Like
doesn't sound very entertaining.
Are you sure? I can be very persuasive. I can educate the Brits on how retarded they were. Oh my god! But no, I couldn't. I don't know how I took.
That's the whole premise. Telling young British people about how wrong their ancestors were. Look here, I could see that being spun into like every group of people.
Hey, look,
here's where your ancestors screwed up.
Look. I know you like Love Island, but let's talk for a moment.
Look, I know you got that giant wall, but let me tell you why it's a problem.
But I'm no joke. Sat down with the three of them and said these exact words. Hey, if we work on this after a year's time, we could each be walking away with a bare minimum of $5,000 a month. Bare minimum. So $20,000 total a month. And I've had 3 fucking people look at me and go, yeah, but putting aside 2 hours a week to do a podcast, that's too much effort.
See,
I'm guessing it's because they can make more than that off of a couple of hours of their own work.
No, not the
Or
money.
investing or something.
Not the money I can make them. No.
Well, I mean, if you're saying $5,000 a month, 2 hours a week is an extra video.
No, I'm talking like sit in front of your computer for 2 hours, send me everything, I'll take care of it.
I know, but what I'm saying is, like, if Kavos uploads a video, you tell me he's not making more than $5,000 on that extra video he gets for the 8 hours he gets.
Oh,
by not doing the
1,000%,
podcast?
yes. That motherfucker's
That's what I'm saying.
demonetized.
If he, that's what I'm saying though. Is if they're looking at it from a monetary point of view,
but
then
they're all getting
they're going to make
demonetized.
more money by saving the 8 hours. Right, but it's one more video they could put out and potentially not be demonetized on.
No.
So realistically, they might make more off of doing their own video instead of doing a podcast.
Jake, I don't think you understand. If you make 1 million views on YouTube, if you are the upper echelon of non-demonetized, you're making like a $10 CPM, maybe. If you do a podcast and you're good at it, like H3 in terms of advertising, you could be making $150 CPM. So there's no amount of work or effort that these fuckers could put in to make more money than I could propose to them.
yeah, and you have to think it probably would have gotten at least better over time too if they would have kept it up.
Yeah,
Just
no, I get that part, and I get the CPM aspect of it.
shit that you could even
I'm
cash
just saying.
out like
I'm just
H3.
saying that what I'm saying is they're all young guys, and in the short term, which is
Yeah.
what most young guys that age think, it would have seemed like better for them to have the free time rather than doing the podcast for only $5,000, which is what it would have seemed like at the time.
See, I get, and that's where I keep having that trouble right there, is because Tommy's bitched at me about this. I think Colossal's bitched at me about this. I like everyone that I talk to in my personal life bitched at me about this. But I keep trying to tell you, like, look, that $5,000 you make, even after tax, we'll go on the low end and say it's $2,000. You know what you do with that?
Right.
You hire a fucking editor, and they take out half of your workload.
Yeah.
And I told people this to their face. I said, hey, if you work with me and do a couple hours, it takes about 6 months to kick in. Like, it takes a little while. But after that 6 months, you'll have made enough money that you could pay somebody to do your YouTube editing, to do all the podcast editing. Hell, you could pay somebody to handle your emails, to handle your search engine and your thumbnails. You would only have to come into work, in so many words, for an hour a day.
Yeah.
I've told people this, and they still tell me, well, no, I'm not interested. You don't have any proof of this exact demonstration, even though there's like 100 YouTubers who already do this. There's no real proof or evidence of this.
Well, no, but I think it's more that you don't have proof you can execute it.
Right.
I guess that's what their theory is.
Well, nobody has ever said it, but like that's what I've come to realize is what I think they're saying.
Yeah.
Nobody is exactly
like I'll be honest. When you first started hitting me up, and you had you mentioned a lot of things, I was like, well, that doesn't make any sense. He's got nobody following him, and then I look and it's who's following you that kind of was like, okay, I believe what he's saying now, because they are following him, and he's got you have a small Twitter account, but the people that are following you are people that don't just follow randoms.
Right.
Yeah.
And that
I always look into everybody before I get into anything with them.
I mean, it makes sense. I'm like, why would you not want to know who you work with?
Nothing personal by looking into you or anything.
No, I get that, and that was one of the big things that I realized when I worked on Baited was that, if I control the Baited and people are like, well, I don't really know if you're telling the truth, I'm like, okay, message the Baited SoundCloud right now. I'll message you right now. That was what I use. Don't tell Keem. I use that all the time. It's such a fucking dick stroke to be like, yes, I'm not fucking with you. I'm being serious.
Yeah.
And anyway, this turned into a rant about me. God damn it. No.
Hey, I turn
fine.
things into me all the time by accident, so...
I would prefer that. I talk about me enough in my own fucking head as the living embodiment of Fousey Tube. I'm sorry, Tupac. I'm like, I talk about myself enough in my head. I don't want to do it in real life, too.
Well, see, to me, it's like, and this is just a personal thing. I know it's not going to be everybody. And a lot of people say this, but obviously people don't necessarily mean it, I think. But money is kind of just a second nature thing for me. It's not the priority. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. If somebody says, hey, you can do this and get some money, I'll do that for you. I'll be interested. I'll be like, yeah, dude, fuck yeah. But from the very beginning, nothing I've ever done has been for monetary gain. It's been just for the shits and giggles, for fun,
I've always kind of wondered, what did get you into doing stuff online? Was it just like everybody else, just kind of watching things and all that?
Yeah, essentially, I was just a fan of people around that 2015, 16 YouTube era, watching every commentator, Leafy, Elvis, those guys on the up and coming, and seeing that they had a strong social presence on Twitter, and me being a nobody, just I hardly ever use my Twitter, but these guys are on there and I could maybe interact with them.
Yeah.
And that's essentially what it was. Just replied to people, making jokes, not coming off super weird, just trying to be genuine.
Yeah.
That is a real lack of that these days. So I think everyone picked up on that immediately.
Yeah.
What do you think about how commentary's been lately? It seems
Fun.
because I've noticed it seems like there are a lot of aspects of it that have gotten kind of cancel culture-y.
No, absolutely. 100%, yeah.
Because it used to be all for the entertainment value, and if you ask most guys that do commentary now, they say it's still about the entertainment, but then you'll see them do stuff where they're really pushing hard on something that really isn't that big a deal.
Oh yeah. I don't know. It's gonna be a personal taste for everybody, but I do think that majority of the commentators that are where they're at are strictly there because there's a massive demand for that amongst children. That's kind of what it boils down to. I mean, and it's not even one particular person. You look at any of the big commentators, and whenever they go to like, convention to see their fans, 9 times out of 10, it's somebody under the age of 16.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So
And
big con.
that's a massive demographic, and they're not smart. They don't want quality. They want, quantity. They want something that's easy to feed.
Yeah.
I think it comes
That's why I
to
was
friends
glad to
too.
see Leon blow up.
Yeah.
I think it also affects. It comes down to friends too as well, because I was
For sure.
babysitting a couple years ago for like best way to say it is like 6-year-old cousin, and this was maybe like 3 years ago, something like that, and it was her and her friends getting ice cream, and they were literally quoting "sitting on a toilet." Like, how old is that shit? I don't think it's necessary that people just want to it's obviously that aspect of being like there's a demand for it, but it's also like, well, my friends are watching this, so I should too. It's almost like a weird new age social pressure to a certain extent.
Yeah, because my brother, who is like the exact embodiment of what like people make fun of online as far as children, he is that. And you're right. He goes over across the street to his friend, and he'll come back and he'll be like, "Donovan, do you know Mr. Beast?" And I'll be like, "Yeah, why?" He showed me him, and I'm watching him a lot, and it's just word of mouth by the friends.
Mm-hmm.
Word of mouth is still king.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I think.
Yeah, that's one thing I've been told is that I need to start talking to people more.
I mean, I think what you're doing on your own right now is amazing. You need to make like weekly videos and then basically have a PewDiePie shout out right now. Like,
yeah,
maybe.
That's fair.
You need that bump.
I mean, to be fair though, who doesn't need a PewDiePie shout out?
Oh, a lot of people don't need a fucking PewDiePie shout out.
I mean, even Markiplier, if he gets a PewDiePie shout out right now, is going to gain.
No.
And he's already in the 10-something millions, 20 million, something like that.
Look. There's 2 types of shout outs. There's a PewDiePie shout out where he sits there and he says, "These channels are amazing. I don't know if they're Nazis, but they're amazing." And then there's a Philip DeFranco shout out where he goes, "This woman lives in a van, has 2 videos. That's it. You should go over and watch 20 minutes of her content and then forget she exists." Which one of those is more effective?
That's fair.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, shoutouts are almost never done right if you want any longevity out of the results.
I gotta ask, what is your opinions on this whole Janelle L. Lee, whatever her last name is, situation?
Is that the one that did the videos in her van?
And then has like 1.5 million subscribers now for seemingly no reason.
Against her, nothing. Obviously, because I don't know
Yeah.
her. But let's just... Now that said, I have, like, crust punk friends that are, like, have been living out of their car since the age of 16. And I'm like, oh, there's a demand for this shit, huh? Weird. She's just kind of tapping in that market that is, like, the basic bitch that loves using Facebook, and it's like, what if like we just upped and left, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, would that be crazy? Would it be wild if like we just got a bus and just traveled? That'd be so cool.
Yeah,
But nobody ever does it. It's just talk.
There's a
It's a
ton of
fantasy.
layers to it. Yeah.
Yeah, but I do also. I wouldn't be fucking surprised one bit if there was somebody at YouTube pushing that forward a bit more, because it's like, what's offensive about it? What's bad? It's unique enough to get people's interest, but safe enough that it doesn't matter if Walmart throws an ad on there.
And
Have you guys both you guys have both seen at least one of the videos, right? Or at least part of it?
Yeah, I watched the first one, but that was it.
Okay.
I haven't watched it.
If you watch the video, it feels very Liza Koshy, top level female YouTuber editing.
Yeah.
She either has some kind of experience with the stuff in the past, whether it's she's a friend of somebody or whatever, I don't know. Or more likely, she consumes a ton of creator content and not mainstream content, which would make sense since she's living in a van and doesn't have a TV. So she probably watches a lot of stuff on her phone via like some local Wi-Fi she found or something like that. Here's my few little things. So I'm gonna make a video on this. I'm working on scripting the video for this. But I will say a few things about it. One, the title of the video has solo female in it. You tell me that's not getting any clicks from accidental searches? Two, she's not a bad-looking girl. Not to be, focusing on that aspect of it, but she's a decent-looking girl. So when there's plenty of little boys that are going to watch the video if they accidentally stumble onto it for whatever reason, solo female. And if they like the first few seconds, they're just going to stay watching it, even if they just like the way she looks or talks. Thirdly is the editing. The first video was much more well edited, I think, than the second one, but the first one felt very much like a fairly standard top level YouTube content.
What you come to expect.
Yes.
So
I think that plays a lot into it. I think a lot of it is just a combination of effects, and it's entirely possible she may have paid to promote the video somewhere.
Man,
I wouldn't doubt that.
Man, you guys are. Like,
I've done it before. I paid to promote my videos a couple times before through the YouTube using I can't remember. It's not through AdSense, right? I can't remember the AdWords. That's it, AdWords. I promoted a couple videos through AdWords. The interactions on it was terrible, but if you had a decent chunk of change to throw at it, you would get enough reach to have generated some actual interest.
But not 1.5 million subs interest.
No, but with those other factors, the fact that it is very much like the other what you expect videos from top level creators, the fact that tiny houses are very, very common now. It's a very common thing. There's multiple shows currently running that are about tiny houses, whether it be building, buying, or living in.
For the record, stop buying fucking tiny houses, you retards. There's no value in them.
There's no value in them, but there's a lot of efficiency and cost effectiveness that they gain from them.
So, okay.
It depends on your current situation and like where you live.
Oh yeah, no. I can understand from the millennial perspective of tiny houses, but I'm fucking a millennial. I'm 27. I own two houses. Well, I mean, I own one, but like, why? I understand my fucking dollar. I'm investing my dollar in something. Why would I throw my fucking money away? It's stupid. Old man yells at clouds.
I can barely bring myself to like buy something online without having a panic attack of like, is this a good purchase? Is this smart?
Yeah.
And I think that's just because I don't handle money very well. I'm not bad with money. I'm just not good with money either. I'm just kind of like very reclusive with. I'm scared to buy things.
And I think that might just be because you're a younger guy. But this is what I don't like. I feel like I'm just the fucking old deluded crazy guy on YouTube now, because like I go to VidCon and all I see are these fucking children who are like 12 years old who have industry passes. Which, by the way, those are like $500 passes. They got these $2,000 cell phones with these $1,000 tripod mounts for the $5,000 camera, and I'm just like, how the fuck are you gonna retire? How do you plan on living until you're 50? Like, it just feels like the content that's consumed this day is people who are sitting there and just like, give me more shit. I don't care about looking 5 minutes in my future. Just keep shoveling shit in my throat. I don't know. I just feel like at this point I'm yelling at the clouds. I'm like, why the fuck are they shaped like an elephant? Cloud people. The fucking lizard people, the frogs are turning gay because they done with the chemicals. Which, by the way, that was a real fucking thing. I don't care what anybody says. That was a real fucking story. They were turning the fucking frogs into females.
I completely lost
why?
track of that entire train of thought you just went on.
I loved it. It was art.
I don't understand how people are wasting their money in tiny living houses, which goes into why they're wasting their lives watching low effort, low budget content on YouTube and consuming it at such a rate that I'm like, you're spending all of your time in front of the TV and you're not saving your money because you're blowing it on these huge expensive products. The two correlate in my opinion.
Consistency. I think it's a major reason that Leafy was so successful. He made the same basic, bland jokes almost entirely for most of his videos, from my experience anyway. Mostly like making really thin jokes about things, not really constructing jokes so much as just insulting somebody about their physical appearance. So every time he would make another video,
I gotta put my
my point is though, he could pump those videos out so frequently, and they know what they're gonna get. They're gonna get him making fun of somebody.
Okay, I gotta put my hat on a little bit here. I'm gonna get the tinfoil on. That's a cloth, but it's on my head now. Okay, I'm not an idiot. I understand basic economic value. If I have a little bit of time to spend, I want the most reward out of my time, right? People aren't stupid like that. But when I was a fucking kid, I'm like, you know what we had? We had the television. What was on the television were shows that they spent hours upon days with multiple people constructing content that was amazing to consume. Why is consistency and saying fuck a million times intriguing to these young people? How is that intriguing?
It could also just be that they can say, well, I could do that. This is something that I could do. I'd make jokes like this. I do this. And also on the other theory is that something was told to me, actually. I forget, I think it was Nerd City, who told me people don't want to have their own opinion. Majority of people, they don't. They want to be told what to think and how to feel. And that's what commentators kind of do. They point out, this is what I think, and this is obviously right. And they have this mob, people that were like, yeah, no, that's good. And it's so fucking confusing to me, because you can see, and this is a very common argument, you see the same video being made like 1,800 times, right, just in different ways. There's no substance to it. There's nothing unique really, but it gets a lot of views.
But here's where I kind of argue with that point, just a smidge, because those are all opinion pieces. And let's just look at YouTube as a whole. I'm like, what are the most successful channels on YouTube? If you really look at like the top, I don't know, even 1,000 channels, most subscribed channels, they all present something different to the argument. You know what you really won't see up there? Commentators. Like, from like a social perspective, I 100% agree. People don't want to think. They really don't. And I hate those people. But like, everyone that's making videos that's wildly successful does something that expands people's minds to a certain extent. You can even argue PewDiePie. PewDiePie can make jokes. He can make memes. He's like kind of the only big commentator in that spectrum. But like Ryan's Toys reviews, he does toys. Like that's kind of his thing. The frickin' like King of Random, they're recently deceased. I'm like, he's a science guy. Vsauce, another big science kind of what's it called? Like kind of a thinker. Like everyone that's wildly successful, or even like maybe over 5 million subs, is somebody who does something that is a truly entertaining format that isn't sitting there and telling you how to think or how to feel. So, yeah, if you want to argue the subsect of people are like that, oh yeah, I'd put money on that any day. But general people aren't like that, so that's why I have to disagree with that argument a bit.
No, that's fair. I can get that. I think in that terms, there's a lot more at play. I think what it boils down to, honestly, is catering to a certain demographic that is big enough to, give you that boost. I think the common one is children. you get enough kids to be watching your shit, you're gold. You're good.
Man, I don't think I can do VidCon again for that very reason. I really don't.
Oh, I would never. I couldn't either. I've been asked to go to VidCon, and I've shown interest in it, but really what interested me the most was the being able to just hang out with people I've wanted to see. Not like, I can't wait to be in the... I think Keemstar said, like, what fucking events happen at VidCon that people are like, yep, that's going to be good.
Panels.
Hardly anybody can name them.
If you go to
Sometimes panels.
the William Osmond,
You know, it'd be really interesting. It'd be really interesting to have you, Ricky, and Wheels all making fun of each other on stage for a panel.
oh yeah,
I would do that.
there is a special place in that people want to go to these events now, and that leads me to a very important question and don't steal this idea because I might do it someday. If somebody said,
I got my notepad.
If you fucking steal this, I'm suing you, ass man. Oh, you think I will fucking murder, because you know that managers thing on YouTube? That was my fucking idea. I don't know how it got out, but somebody took my idea. I'm putting that fucking tinfoil back on. Anyway, so what would you be willing to go to a theater? We're just gonna say like a theater, like maybe a 500 to 1,000 seater. If you knew that iDubbbz, Filthy Frank, Anything for Views, and Max Mofo, that whole gang, they're gonna go on stage and do basically a 2.5 hour performance. Would you be willing to go, and how much would you be willing to spend to go to that?
I guess it would be intriguing. It would. It would cross my mind. Like, that's gonna be fun, but what are they gonna do? And I guess based off that, that's kind of what's gonna make that price level worth it. If I'm being honest, I probably wouldn't pay anything more than maybe 30, and I feel like 30 is kind of pushing it for me personally.
That's good, because here's the thing: if I'm going to VidCon and I'm dropping $200 on badges, the creators aren't getting that money. They're not going to see any dollar sign of that. So why not go and do a comedy club that has like 100-seater, and go do like an hour-long performance, and do literally, okay, we sat 100 people at $20 a pop. That's not a lot of money, but that's $2,000. And you split that between people, and you go, hey, we're just going to put on this goofy-ass little show. More people would be willing to do that and probably paying for that than going to the conventions, especially adults.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And that's not even, like, counting in merch sales that you get, too.
Oh, yeah.
And, all that
just
other
door
stuff.
sale.
I mean, I think that's one of the reasons they do stuff like they'll do like live podcasts and stuff in the area when they're going to do that.
Exactly.
And things like that. It makes total sense.
And I think you could really effectively do it if you only have like 100,000, 200,000 subs, if you just work with people.
Mm-hmm.
I like when Vsauce announced his whole thing and he was having William Osmond and Michael Reeves go, I'm like, I looked for tickets. They weren't coming to my area, but that was the first thing I did. I was like, oh my God, because I know it's going to be cheap. I know it's going to be fun. I know it's going to be a tailored experience. Whereas when I went to VidCon, I'm like, all right, they're going to go up on stage and talk. Cool.
Yeah, I still got to look and see if I can find any videos, because I would have loved to see how that played out.
What to play out?
Them live.
Oh yeah. I wish they would release a DVD of it. I think they might at some point, but it'd be smart to do that.
Mm-hmm. I'm actually surprised more commentators, like the larger ones, haven't tried doing because I don't know what what's it, Danny Gonzalez and why am I spacing on the other guy's name? Drew Gooden. I don't know what they're going to do at all for their live show, but if you think about it, the kind of commentary they do, if they were to just have like one or two topics that they could talk about, like a 30-minute video or something, and they just have a laptop that's hooked up to the projector, and they're just doing a live performance of a video. Like, they have their scripted responses. Like, it's totally doable like that.
Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised that I don't think anybody's really tried to do that besides, I mean, H3's kind of done that, sort of, with their live podcasts. But it's just kind of surprising that no one's really kind of gone that route yet.
I really firmly believe if I were given free reign over somebody like Kavos, I could make it happen. To the English commentator community.
Mm-hmm.
I could get...
You know who's really good live? Captain Disillusion. Have you seen his live performances at like BlenderCon or whatever?
Oh no, I've only seen his TED Talks. I think the one he uploaded was that on BlenderCon.
He's uploaded a couple like where he goes to cons and stuff for like Blender and things, and it's insane. He's got these whole stories laid out, and he times the entire performance out.
Yeah.
With himself on the screen. It's insane.
It's almost like you have an adult who knows how to make something funny.
Disillusion has to be one of the people I respect the most on the platform.
Yeah. I think he's got like the experience of being in the industry. So that's why he's so amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man. Like, you really will find, if you find the adults who are doing YouTube videos, they know what they're doing. Kids don't. I think...
Yeah, hello.
I think that's why you go into comedy is like the smart thing. I'm like, you're going, okay, I've been doing this goofy shit for long enough. Now let's see if I can take a little serious now.
Essentially, yeah. That's what it boils down to.
That's why there's a huge outcry for like Gus being on Comedy Central as well. I'm like, people are sitting there going, oh, so he's actually going to be like professional. He's going to put like, you know, make some big money, obviously, hopefully, and going to take that next step and be better.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of what Comedy Central's trying to do right now is they've been trying to get like internet comedians and kind of grab a hold of them now so that they have like they've already got a working deal with them of sorts. They've got a working history with them the further they get in their career.
Yeah.
Because like what does Comedy Central have going for them right now?
Nothing.
Not a whole lot. Netflix has taken so many of those stand-up specials, and then HBO with Stars and Amazon have taken a lot of the others. But Netflix has like a lot of the biggest names right now.
I have said this to the end, like since the beginning of YouTube Red. They need to just hire some fucking YouTubers to do some good skit comedy, just some stupid shit. You would rob Netflix of all its competition.
Oh yeah.
Like when
I'm really curious to see what happens with the Valley Folk. You know who they are, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know they're on Bring the Funny on NBC.
No, I don't watch any television.
It's like they've been advertising it for a while, and they made it past the it's kind of like Last Comic Standing, but for all types of comedy, not just stand up.
Oh.
So it's like what is it? I can't remember what the girl's name is, but it's Kenan Thompson and Jeff Foxworthy are the judges, and they were the ones in charge of like deciding who's going to be in the competition from the initial round. So there was a bunch of sketch comedians, and one of the sketch comedy groups was the Valley Folk.
So like a funny version of America's Got Talent?
Yeah, kinda.
That sounds interesting.
There's actually quite a few good
cool.
acts.
Yeah.
But I mean, think about how huge that would be if you could actually like make a internet service like type of website almost, instead of being like, oh well, we're doing this for TV. Nobody's gonna go there. Nobody's gonna watch that. Make it for the internet. That'll be huge.
Yeah, because I mean, I think the beauty of YouTube in theory is that it's all on, you know, it's all up to you. Right? Everything you say and do, you know, you get that say, nobody else. Where moving into something like more mainstream, like Comedy Central, it is good to a degree, but I guess I would also worry that they restrict people with what they do, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm really hoping that Adult Swim, they're doing this thing where every Thursday they stream it's called Pitch Adult Swim, where they do a $500 like competition. So you pitch them some show ideas. I'm hoping they pick up my show.
That'd be cool.
Take it, please.
God, I would love that. I would love working with Adult Swim. That'd be so funny.
From what I can tell, I'm like, it really looks like a laid back scene. I'm like, those guys, the way they're talking and they're taking like show ideas, they're so like brutally just like nice and honest. Like they look at like I've seen some trash submissions And they're like, yeah, I can see where you're going with this, man. Just keep working on it. I don't think it's really ready there at that point. I can see where you have some flaws here. Maybe you can improve. Like, they go in on it. And they're very nice. Meanwhile, I'm sitting there like, who the fuck sent this in? Do you think you were going to win money with this shit? Like, and the entire chat section. But you've got these two guys who are sitting there like, no, we want to see some show. We want to see these people succeed. We want to see them pitch, like, amazing content and actually be well produced. So, if you could work with Adult Swim, go for it. Holy shit.
That's amazing to hear, actually. Given how, I mean, there's so many examples of mainstream thumbing their nose at self-made comedians, like where they just started in their bedroom and they continue to get better and better and better and build their audience themselves.
Shit, look at Bo Burnham.
From the ground up.
Isn't that like the exact definition of that?
He is the best example I can think of a creator that started on the platform and went on to mainstream success. I mean, arguably YouTube, arguably the new media is technically mainstream because of the size of the audience now, but still, it's not how it's viewed.
And yet Fox News and all these other news agencies are like, what do you mean a 16-year-old won $3 million playing Fortnite? What?
Yeah.
Did you motherfuckers, like, have you not paid attention for the last 11 years? You're dead. Mm-hmm. Your industry's gone in 5 years. Fucking bye-bye. We taking this shit over. I mean, not me. That's going to be you, Jake. I'm just going to be standing behind you going, go, Jake! I'll be your number one fan. I'll wear the thong.
Oh, that didn't need that mental image.
What? No fun. I think, like, for the most part, you both are going in an avenue that's amazing. I'd like to see Jake doing content more often. I'd like to see you, Cripp, doing, like, just overall more. But I'm like, if you just both had this kick, like a social media push where people were just tweeting you out, you're going viral. Like, it's the quality's there. And I think it really is like the modern day age of going out there and being like, oh, I just go and play pubs and hoping to get discovered by that agent who signs you to that big, like, record label or the big, like, stand-up agency or something like that. I'm like, you're there. You're making the content already. You're just waiting for the chance where the algorithm props you up and goes, all right, it's your turn. Entertain monkeys. And you go, oh, shit. And you get famous off of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got part of the problem is I hold on to scripts and stuff too long. So, like, I've been working for like a week and a half on this script about the living out of your van, and I already have a video recorded about the Disney brawl from a month ago that because I just got my medication back, like, I'm still not done editing that video. So I might even just save that one till it's older. But I tend to sit on, like, I've got so many scripts, like, that I never finished, and I sit on them too long, and then I harp over not finishing stuff, and instead of just jumping on things, I'm gonna try and start doing that stupid parody news show I was doing again, so that I can get myself back in the habit of, like, jumping on something real quick, just make a couple jokes about it, talk about, like, 5 things, and then I'm done.
I think
it's the only way
that's fair.
It's the only way I'm gonna do it. And at least it'll kind of get me back in the rhythm of just, hey, I need to get a couple jokes done by the end of the week.
I think you're gonna get there, faster than you seem. You think?
Well, now that I'm back on, like, I mean, dude, without my thyroid medication, it was so rough. It was really messing with my head. Now that I'm back on it, I'm feeling much better. I'm just struggling with the lack of free time right now. So, but at least I'm back on it. So.
Why'd you have a fucking kid? God damn it! I need content from you.
I know. I have a kid, and then the next year things start working out.
Bro, okay. I'm gonna ask you a deep ass question. And don't be afraid to not answer it honestly. But here's the thing. Kids are great. They're our future and everything like that. But when you became a father, did you become a boring cunt? Where, like, you'd sit there with your friends and be like, well, my kid was absolutely crazy this weekend. They pooped in their diaper 14 times in a day. How was that crazy? I've met so many...
No, because I'm still constantly scrolling through Twitter. I mean, I do talk about my kid and stuff quite a bit because it's like the biggest thing that people in my regular life care about. Because nobody in my regular life cares about YouTube or anything. I mean, I've got it's funny. I've got people that work where I work that are in a hardcore band, and like hardcore is great and all, but like they're like I mentioned somebody mentioned to them one time that I was doing a video because I was mentioning it to somebody in the office, and they mentioned to them, they're like, yeah, but doing YouTube's kind of dumb. It's like it's the same thing as being in just like your own little garage band. It's the same thing. I mean, I'm in my garage making videos. I'm emulating things that I enjoy, which is video content.
Yeah, I 1000% agree. I think like SoundCloud rappers, I'm like most of them suck, but I'm like it's the modern day garage band, and if people have their outlet that they want to do that's creative, shut the fuck up.
And everybody does it. Everybody starts out doing it as a hobby. They don't start out thinking I'm gonna make a bunch of money doing this.
I did.
It's just for like for me, it was initially just an outlet. Hopefully, maybe I meet some people. It'd be great. And I've continued to meet people and continued to learn and continue to grow, and it's been the best experience of my life. And not to mention, I was really, I mean, I'm still shy in person a lot, but when I started doing YouTube like 5 years ago, I was so introverted, it's insane. I would never even consider getting a call with somebody I didn't know, like Cripp. I would have been like, yeah, no, I have nothing to say. I'm gonna just be quiet the entire time. But just making videos and talking to people online has helped me grow so much and stop thinking so much about like embarrassing myself or being a weird douchebag.
Bruh, that's why you need good people in your life. That's what kills me. I'm like, you gotta find those people who are gonna tell you, no, go for it, do it. Don't listen to the one that's saying, jump off that bridge, it's a good idea. But like, there seems to be a real lack of people who are sitting there and going, fucking do it. You're gonna do amazing. Who cares if you fail a couple times? You're gonna do amazing. Like, it's incredible. I love it.
I mean, years ago, I was even hesitant to reply to people on Twitter because I didn't want them to like not like what I said back or something like that. I would have replied to them. Like now, I don't give a crap. Half the time, people don't even see it because they got so many other replies going on.
So you wouldn't reply to anybody. I'd intentionally troll and fuck with people, and then Cripp and Ricky would just go and send reply guy messages. I think we got a dynamic duo here, or trio here.
Essentially.
Have you? Oh, real quick before we actually sign off, because it's unfortunately getting late, and I'm a sack of shit who has to work in the morning. I do have a question. Were you ever a part of that trolling scene? Did you ever get involved in like really learning how to fuck with people?
No, not really, but I do feel like I could do something with that, and it's funny you mention it, because I've contemplated doing a video that is fucking with people, because I had a premise for a joke that I was like, that's funny, but I don't know if that's enough to stand on its own, but it would be funny to actually, like, just do it.
I think it's a real, like, comedy void right now. And I think when you have somebody like you who's like, I can fuck with people and they can't get mad at me, like, go do it. Go fall out your wheelchair and tell somebody, what the fuck did you do? And just watch their reality break in front of them.
Yeah, because I think the thing, it got burnt out because so many people like Joey Salads.
God.
Were oversaturated and then making it just not fun. They made it like too political or too much to send a message, or people didn't even really put in a lot of effort into doing something.
I agree.
They didn't even put in effort into making it seem less fake anymore.
Yeah.
I think there's a difference though. I think being able to break somebody's brain and their perception of reality is way more creative than the pranksters ever came up with. Like one of the best comedy bits I've seen is like somebody goes to a porta potty. I'm sure everyone's seen this video where it's like, then they take a shipping container, put it in front of the porta potty, and inside of it is like a conference table with a bunch of like Asian CEO businessmen. So they walk out of a porta potty into this meeting conference room with a bunch of people, and they're like, where did I just, huh? Like, That's an evolved level of comedy. Whereas I'm making out with this kid's mom in front of her, or I'm beating up somebody and calling it a social experiment. I'm like, that's not world breaking. There's nothing funny about that. It's not really interesting.
Oh, definitely. Because, I mean, even me telling what the video was, I don't think would be enough for people to be like, don't talk about it. But, because nobody can really take the idea. I mean, they can try, that'd be funny. But the whole premise of the video I had in mind is setting up, like me, Eric Andre, like running into people. And I have a clipboard. I actually have the thing written out already. It's a petition. And I come up to people, I'm like, excuse me, do you have a moment? Can I bother you? See, I have this, are you against ableism? Because for far too long, there's been this organization that's been turning me down. They don't see me as an equal because of my disability, and they won't let me in. And I feel like that's very discriminatory, and I'm just out here trying to gather some signatures. And they, more than likely, people are going to be like, oh, yeah, wow, that's really messed up. And as they're signing, I'm going to be like, thank you. It's really good. I just think that ISIS really needs to get with, like, the new era, because I have a right to be able to join if I want.
I thought you were going to say one of those trampoline jump houses or something. That's even better.
I thought worse. I thought it was going to be like dog fucking or something.
No. I have a right to join ISIS if I want. They can't tell me no because I'm disabled.
Oh god, I'd watch the shit out of that.
You know what else would be interesting? I would love. I feel like with as fast as you are and as funny as you are, you would probably be great at doing like satirical interviews.
Oh yeah, that'd be so much fun.
Like I could totally see you just like. I mean, like, maybe down the road or something, like when you have a little more oomph behind you, like, actually having, like, a set and actually getting people to come over and, like, doing, even like you said, Eric Andre style, like, interviews. Just interviewing them with on a set and all that. It'd be hilarious.
I had an idea. It was a joke tweet at first, but as I thought about it more, I was like, this would be actually fun to do. Where I was like, a YouTube web series, but it's just me interviewing other YouTubers from my bed. And we just, like, hang out, and I just shoot the shit with them in my house. And then, like, they take care of me for, like, a day.
I'd pay money to watch that. Because you'd have to spring it on them. That'd be the big thing. It's like, if you want to get your fucking $1,000, you'll fucking pick me up, bitch.
Yeah, are you gonna help me change my clothes real quick? Because I have $1,000 that says you will.
Nurse for a day?
I watched the shit out of that.
Can you imagine Mr. Beast coming over and being your nurse for a day?
It would be great.
Basically just getting Chandler and everybody to do stuff for you.
Do you know how much of a power move it would be to get PewDiePie to wipe my ass?
Oh my god. This is the type of shit that needs funding. It's funny. It's entertaining. It's unique. I think we could do it. I think we need to petition PewDiePie right now. Hey, PewDiePie, we needed you to make YouTube too. Don't call it YouTube. Just call it something like PewTube or something better. But we'll find the people. We'll make the original content and we'll sell it, and then we'll really fuck with people by being like, hey, why would you go on YouTube when you can go on PewTube? It's better here. We fuck with people.
Exactly.
I'm waiting for the day that there's an actual valid competitor. I think this type of stuff needs funding. Not a lot. You don't need like $80,000 a year, like, for every person that's on your show to be a good, interesting, funny show. But
right,
give you a couple $1,000. I think I could fucking see some gold coming out of you.
I think the best bet would be multiple smaller channels, like groups of YouTubers starting their own website.
Huh. It's almost like that's something I do with my clients and try to help them make money, and then they tell me to fuck off.
Because I could imagine like 6 or 7 YouTubers, like I mean, just for example, like like the whole gang that Marriott, Alex, and everybody, like if like there's like 7 of them or something, right? If the 7 of them came together and paid for one website, even if they were using like some other website to host the videos, but then posting them on their channel, then they control all the monetization. They control the actual website itself, and as long as they have backups of everything, they don't have to worry about like. That's one of the reasons I try to get my own website kind of going. Like, I mean, I need to get back on it, but it serves as a whole backup. I mean, like even Mumkey, I heard was actually doing pretty well until all that weird stuff happened recently. But until then, supposedly he was doing pretty well.
It's surprising how many people are willing to go somewhere else for their entertainment. They'll travel. It's not much. You won't go to 7 sites removed to watch. I won't go to the Marriott group and then go to the Pew group and then go to the IW. Like, I'm not gonna do that. But if there was like, I don't know, like one like website where like it's like, oh hey, if you pay like $2 a month to watch like all the premium exclusive content and the normal content that these guys make, $2 a month, cheap. I'd do it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I ran into a guy at VidCon talking about something like that, and I gotta I'm letting you all in my business secret plans, but it's something I'm actually trying to work on. Is the idea of like, okay, get Kavos and like 2 other dudes, do your podcast, make a shitload of money from that, and then do like an interview series, make a shitload of money from that, and then do just some fucking boring gameplay stuff. Like sit down and play GTA for an hour, and then throw that up and charge people to watch it. Make decent money.
Yeah. If like that one big break, I guess we all hope for, especially me right now, the one that I'm just holding out for. Don't know what it is, but when it happens, I'll be excited. I would end up utilizing it for like the long haul. It wouldn't be a short-term thing. It would be like, now that I have this, let's make this work.
Mm-hmm.
That's the smart way to go about it.
Yeah, that's why I recently started streaming again. I think I'm going to try and make that consistent. Big part of my problem is scheduling. I need to actually like figure out how I'm going to plan for my week and actually like plan out when I'm going to record and edit and streaming and all that stuff. I mean, as we've experienced, so many issues with scheduling for just recording the podcast. But like I think that's one major issue is just being able to get myself time set aside for that, because streaming is huge right now. It's gonna be huge for a long time. Yeah. So like that's another one. I mean, I actually somebody that apparently has been following me for a while, ZMZ Reloaded, it runs like a zombie related zombie survival channel or something like that. I haven't watched a whole lot of the content, but he hit me up the other day. We ended up playing Minecraft for like 3.5 hours on stream.
Nice.
It was very interesting. I wasn't expecting that, because he's like 150k sub channel. He's like, hey, I've been watching you for a little while. Want to hang out? Want to play something?
Nice. I think that's a really good thing, just in general. So he's like, hey, just go chill.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like there's, I love just doing that with people, and it's been happening more and more lately, and I'm loving it.
You invited me to play Minecraft. I see how this is gonna be.
Hey, well, to be fair, he invited me to a server he was buying. I don't have a server. I play with some specific people that have their own server. But we can play.
Well, let me just ask you.
We can build some dicks in Minecraft together.
Let me just ask you though. If I said right now, if I gave you $2,000 a month, no taxes, would you quit your job to do YouTube and streaming full time?
Are you asking me?
Jake.
I'm
like,
no,
I'd have to pay you more.
Only
correct?
Because, yeah, I still make more than that, and I'm still struggling with my bills. So I would still need more than that to be able to just go like completely get off of the internet. Get off of my current job.
God damn it.
Just even medical bills alone.
Well, that's what I'm trying to say. Is like, I'm like, what is the price to get you to do entertainment as like a career? Because
I'm very conservative with things like that as of right now. So I don't know. Only because my wife doesn't really have much of anything for us to fall back on. She's got her own stuff she's working on. Like she's got a career she's trying to get into.
Right.
So if she gets into that career, she's even said like it wouldn't be a problem at all for even if I was still not doing well, if she's making what I make now, switching the role up, and I would just get a part-time job or something and focus a little more on this because she sees that I have potential. Even if she doesn't enjoy it much, she sees that there's something there.
And I think one of the ways that people in this day and age could do that is kind of do what Sky Does Minecraft did, but not scummy. Be like, hey, I'm James Murray in this example. I'm gonna go, hey, I like your content, but we need an editor, and we realize that you also want to do YouTube, so we're gonna hire you and another guy. We're gonna pay you $2,500 a month after taxes for some reason, and I think you would find that creative individuals like yourself and like really unique individuals, like even Sai, for example, like PewDiePie's editor, I'm like, you'd find more of those. Because right now, as it stands, the people who are succeeding on YouTube are Leafy clones. And they suck.
Yeah.
And they're going to be gone in a year or 2 years. People like you, people who are putting effort, like Nerd City, they will last forever if they just had the funding and just a little bit of help. And on that note, Young Cripp, please shout out to our 2 viewers. What you got to promote?
I am a funny guy on Twitter mostly. I upload on my channel, but right now I'm just kind of swinging through the motions of putting my name out there as a comedian. That's what I'm doing. So if you like to laugh, go give me a try if you feel like it. If not, then like understandable, whatever.
One of the best edgy comedians I've ever seen.
I legitimately am. Like, you were one of the best Twitter comedians out there. And I only say Twitter because I haven't seen you much elsewhere yet. And even on YouTube, I'm like, yeah, you're good there, but you're gonna go further elsewhere.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm giving it a try. I'm giving more live performances.
Eric Andre's gonna call you soon. Don't worry about it. I'm putting money on that shit.
God, I wish.
On that note, take it easy, everyone who is listening.
Yeah.